Discovered, the incredible moment a child changing his life in seconds left his teacher shocked. In the heart of a cramped urban neighborhood, where dreams often collided with harsh realities, Jamie stood tall despite the weight of the world on his small shoulders. At just 12 years old, he had seen the struggles of his single mother, who worked several jobs just to keep food on the table. But with every hardship, Jamie had developed an unyielding spirit and a dream for a brighter future. His lifeline in this turbulent sea was Mia, his best friend, who shared in his challenges and whispered dreams of their big escape point. One day, rumors of a mentorship program began to ripple through the hallways of their school. Jamie's heart raced. Perhaps this was the chance he'd been waiting for. But as excitement bubbled inside, a wave of skepticism crashed over him. His classmates smirked, throwing around bad jokes about kids from the hood. Even some teachers eyed him with disbelief. Jamie felt like an underdog. But if he was going to prove them wrong, he had to take that leap. Then, the nightmare struck. Mr. Thompson, the beloved veteran who owned the corner store, fell ill. The vibrant community he had nurtured teetered on the brink of financial collapse. "We're down to our last pennies," whispered a friend in their tight circle, the weight of the situation pressing like a stone in Jamie's chest. He couldn't just sit back, fueled by empathy. Jamie jumped into action. His heart raced, and his voice trembled, but he stood firm. He gathered his classmates, eyes bright with determination. "We can't just stand by," he urged, feeling the energy shift in the room. They brainstormed, crafted ideas, and rallied behind Jamie. But as they worked, a familiar face sneered from the back, dismissing Jamie's efforts. "What do you know about anything?" the classmate hissed. But Jamie held his ground. This wasn't just about him, it was about community, respect, and dignity. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. As the fundraiser plans unfolded, Jamie felt a storm of emotions. He would take the stage, and his heart thundered with uncertainty. What if he faltered? What if they laughed again? But deep inside, a flicker of hope ignited, a hope tied to more than just Mr. Thompson's family. It was about breaking free from the judgment they all wore like an old coat. The night finally arrived, the school gym transformed into a burst of colors and noise. Jamie stepped up to the microphone. The chatter faded. Silence blanketed the crowd like a warm embrace, but doubts clawed at his throat. Would he seize this moment? Or would fear swallow him whole? Just as he opened his mouth, the echoes of judgment crept in, making him freeze. All eyes were on him, waiting, wondering. Could this be the moment he had been waiting for, or would it be just another chance that slipped through his fingers? The air thickened, and hearts pounded as the question hung in the air, leaving everyone on the edge of their seats. Jamie inhaled deeply, trying to push aside the weight of those stares. Each heartbeat pulsed in his ears, loud enough to drown out the crowd. He glanced quickly at Mia, who offered him a reassuring nod, her eyes bright with belief. In that moment, Jamie knew he wasn't just standing for himself, he was standing for Mr. Thompson, for Mia, for everyone around him. Trembling under the weight of uncertainty, he took a breath and found his voice, shaky yet full of fire. "Hello, everyone. I'm Jamie." The words eked out slowly, but as he spoke, they began to gather strength. "We all know Mr. Thompson. He's not just a store owner, he's a part of our family. And right now, his family needs us." A few murmurs rippled through the audience. Jamie pressed on, his nerves retreating as his passion ignited. "This community means something. We can't let a man who cares for us with every smile and kind word fade away into silence." Each sentence landed like a drumbeat, resonating with the listeners. He unfolded the ideas his classmates had crafted together. A bake sale. A car wash. A neighborhood cleanup drive with a promise to donate the earnings. Standing taller, he pitched them like they were the greatest plans ever, because to him, they were. Every laugh shared, every hour spent working, could turn the tide for Mr. Thompson. As Jamie spoke, he watched the faces transform. Skepticism turned into interest, and then into determination. Eyes that were once glazed with disbelief now sparkled with hope. People began nodding, whispering amongst themselves. He could feel the energy shift, the initial signs of support blossoming around him. Then came the moment that stopped him in his tracks. Tommy, the classmate who had sneered at him before, stood up. The tension in the room gave a collective gasp. I didn't think you could pull it off, Jamie. But maybe you can, he said, the usual bravado absent from his voice. An unexpected wave of empathy washed over Jamie. Even the ones who were hard on him had hopes of change. Maybe we can all change, Jamie replied, feeling a surge of camaraderie. Not just for Mr. Thompson, but for our community. Our dreams matter. We matter. He pointed out into the crowd, meeting the gaze of classmates, friends, even the teachers who doubted him. The gym erupted into a chorus of cheers and applause. Jamie felt the realization wash over him, he could do this. He was not just a kid from the city's edge. He was a leader, a beacon for the very change he dreamed of. In that moment, the quiet boy disappeared, replaced by a young man filled with purpose. As the cheers slowly faded, Jamie took a breath, scanning the room. His heart soared. But beneath the joy, something new brewed, a surge of responsibility. The fundraiser was just the beginning. He sensed a greater journey ahead, one that required even more from him, and just then, Mr. Thompson walked in, needing help more than ever. I heard the noise from outside, the older man said, his weak voice barely rising above the murmurs. Jamie's heart sank. And I'm afraid I don't know what I can do for you all. With the stakes rising, Jamie knew they needed a plan, and fast. But would they really be able to save the store, or was this just another dream dangling out of reach? Jamie felt a wave of uncertainty wash over him as Mr. Thompson looked around the gym, his eyes searching for answers. The applause had evaporated, replaced now with an anxious silence. Jamie's mind raced, desperate to find the right words. Mr. Thompson, he said, stepping forward, we're going to help you. We have a plan, a whole bunch of ideas, actually. Mr. Thompson's expression fluttered between disbelief and hope, as if he couldn't decide which emotion to lean into. A plan? For a man like me? He asked, his voice trembling slightly. Yes. We want to host fundraisers, get the whole community involved. Bake sales, car washes, everything. Jamie's voice cracked slightly, but he pressed on. We can make a difference. It's not just about saving a store, it's about keeping our family together. Your store, it means so much to us. A hush fell over the gym as Mr. Thompson took a moment to process what Jamie was saying. A small smile crept across his face, lighting up the corners of his weary eyes. You really believe that, don't you? He asked quietly. Yes. We need you, Mr. Thompson. We need your stories, your laughter in the aisles, and the warmth you bring to every single person who walks through your doors. As Jamie spoke, he glanced at the crowd, which was now caught up in the moment. Each face mirrored the determination he felt inside himself. Then let us do it. Mr. Thompson exclaimed, surprising everyone, including himself. The energy in the room shifted again, electric and vibrant. Let us save this store. I may not have all the answers, but if you're willing to fight for it, then I will too. We can get through this together. The cheers erupted once more, louder than before. Jamie felt a surge of adrenaline course through him as people began to shout their ideas, suggestions tumbling over one another. Decorated jars for donations, social media campaigns, even a talent show featuring local acts. Everyone wanted to contribute. As plans began to take shape, Jamie noticed Mia slipping through the crowd. She looked energized, ready to jump into action. I've got my mom on board for the bake sale. She said she'd bring everything we need. She shouted excitedly. Perfect. And I'll talk to my dad about getting supplies for the car wash. Jamie replied, caught up in the whirlwind of enthusiasm. They tossed ideas like confetti, the room buzzing with laughter and the thrill of possibility, but just as they were mapping out their next steps, a heavy shadow crossed Jamie's heart. What if all their efforts wouldn't be enough? What if, amidst the excitement, they didn't meet the target to save Mr. Thompson's store? That's it. We need to set a goal, he declared, trying to mask his fears with newfound resolve. If we're going to do this, we have to know what we're fighting for. How much do we need? Mr. Thompson straightened up, his expression serious now. We need $10,000, and time is not on our side. Gasps filled the room, and Jamie felt his heart drop. Could they really raise that much? Doubts crept in again, threatening to drown out the optimism that had filled the hall just moments before. Let us just do our best, Jamie said, his voice steadier than he felt. No matter what happens, we have to believe in ourselves and each other. We'll make this happen. Murmurs of agreement surged around him, but Jamie couldn't shake the heavy weight sitting at the back of his mind. His heart raced, bracing for the challenge ahead. As ideas rekindled the energy and laughter in the gym, Jamie felt a mixture of hope and fear. Could they really rise up, become the community they needed to be? And in that moment of hope, Jamie caught sight of Tina at the back, her gaze fixed on him, eyes wide and uncertain. Something in her look sent a shiver down his spine. Did she share his doubts? What if she wasn't the only one who feared failure? With determination surfacing in his chest, Jamie made a silent vow. It was time to confront not just the challenge of saving the store but the doubts that whispered in the corners of their minds. Would Jamie be able to uplift the community when he himself felt so shaken? And what unexpected hurdles would arise that could shake their newfound determination? The next morning, the sun rose over the small town, casting long golden rays through Jamie's bedroom window. He stretched, feeling a mix of anticipation and anxiety churn in his stomach. Today was the day they would execute their first fundraiser. The bake sale, driven by Mia's mom's enthusiasm, had taken over the community center, and Jamie needed it to be a big success. That he felt the resolve from last night bubble up within him. He lay in bed for a moment longer, imagining the people who would come by to pick up a sugary treat, and with each sweet thought, his nervousness ebbed slightly. Today felt significant. When Jamie arrived at the community center, the scent of warm cookies and brownies filled the air. Tables were piled high with delicious homemade goods, decorated with colorful napkins. Mia waved him over, her face flushed with excitement. Look at this. She beamed, gesturing around. We've got everything from chocolate chip cookies to lemon bars. It all looks so amazing. Jamie couldn't help but smile back at her enthusiasm. They started to set everything up, arranging the table just so, making sure each dessert had its moment to shine. We have to make sure there's a jar for donations, Jamie reminded, and Mia nodded. I'll grab one. I found a big glass jar in my garage we can use. As the crowd began to trickle in, Jamie watched the faces light up as they picked out their treats. Each smile felt like a small victory. But a familiar knot formed in his stomach when he noticed a series of families passing through with empty hands. Were they struggling? Would they even be able to donate $2 for a cookie? His worries multiplied as he caught sight of Tina again. She was sitting at a table off to the side, alone, her book resting on the table while candy wrappers surrounded her like a halo. For a moment, their eyes met, and Jamie felt something uncomfortable twist inside him. Was she feeling the same weight of uncertainty he was? Or was it something else entirely? But just as Jamie was about to approach her, Mr. Thompson walked into the community center, his eyes scanning the room. When he spotted Jamie, he approached him, his face serious. You all have really done a fantastic job here, he said, his voice warm but strained. But we can't lose focus. We need to raise at least $2,000 today just to kickstart our campaign. Jamie gulped. As much as he believed in their cause, the number felt overwhelmingly high. "Do you really think we can do it?" he asked, looking up at Mr. Thompson, who nodded, though worry flickered behind his eyes. "It's not just about the money, Jamie. It's about the spirit. I've seen this community come together before, and I know you can do it again." His words were like fuel to Jamie's resolve. But could they truly meet that goal? Gathering his courage, Jamie turned back to the crowd, a renewed fire igniting in his chest. Laughter erupted, and a line began to form at the tables. He would do his best to rally them all. Maybe today wasn't just about the bake sale, it was about unity, hope, and community spirit rising from the uncertainty. As hours passed, and the jars filled up with donations, Jamie noticed Tina still sitting alone, chewing on her gum, her gaze distant. His heart ached for her. This was more than just saving a store. Couldn't they bring everyone in together, even those who felt left out? Just as he prepared to approach her, a loud crash echoed through the community center. Jamie's head whipped around to see Mia's mom, flailing her arms as she lost her balance and knocked over a table laden with treats. Desserts went flying, and gasps filled the air. Jamie felt the fight or flight instinct rise as he wondered how this would affect their progress. Would they get back on track, or was this the unexpected hurdle that would shake their determination? The moment the table toppled, time seemed to slow. Desserts cascaded to the floor in a colorful, sugary avalanche. Jamie's heart raced as he caught a glimpse of Mia's mom's face, a mix of shock and disbelief. This wasn't just a mere accident, it felt monumental. "Everyone, stay calm." Mr. Thompson's voice rose above the growing murmur of the crowd. But the air filled with anxiety as people rushed to help. Jamie's mind was in a frenzy. This was their moment to shine, but now it seemed like all their hard work was about to crumble away. "Come on, Jamie, we need to fix this," Mia shouted, her voice laced with urgency. Together, they hurried over to the mess. Jamie knelt down, scooping up brownies and cookies, trying to salvage whatever he could. He felt Mia's hand on his shoulder, steadying him. Amid the chaos, Tina looked up from her table, her book forgotten at her side. For a brief moment, their eyes met again, and Jamie saw something flicker in her expression. Was it concern? Sympathy? He couldn't tell. But something ignited within him, a pull that urged him to do more than just help clean up. "Let's make a new pile right here," Jamie said, positivity spilling out despite the daunting task, his voice breaking through the noise. He watched as Mia chimed in, gathering volunteers to piece things back together. A few families who'd just come in jumped into action, grabbing napkins and plates, laughter breaking out amidst the frantic energy. Jamie waved in Tina's direction. "Hey! Can you help us out?" He wasn't sure if she would respond, but she simply blinked, still tucked away in her corner. Mia noticed too. "Tina is great at organizing. Come on!" she yelled, her arms gesturing for Tina to join them. After a moment, Tina stood and walked over, a hint of uncertainty in her stride. Jamie's heart raced at the sight of it. For a fleeting second, he remembered that feeling of being left out, of being uncertain. It clicked in him. This was an opportunity to create a connection. With Jamie's encouragement, they turned the chaos into a new approach. Instead of setbacks, they began to set things up differently. "How about we make a free treat table?" Jamie proposed, his mind racing. "Just for today, so everyone can enjoy something sweet." He briefly glanced at Mr. Thompson as if seeking approval, and to his surprise, Mr. Thompson nodded, a smile creeping into the corners of his mouth. The energy shifted as they pooled together their ideas. Families began to gather eagerly, and something about the shift made Jamie's heart swell. It was as if the chaos had woven their community closer. Everyone rallied, trading treats for stories, moving in and out of laughter as they mingled. Jamie noticed some familiar faces he hadn't seen in ages. They chatted comfortably, and he felt a pleasant warmth spreading through the room. But then, just as the vibe reached a peak, he caught sight of the donation jar sitting with only a meager handful of bills and coins. The $2,000 felt as far away as ever. He had momentarily forgotten the primary goal amidst the sugar-fueled preparations. Tina leaned toward him, her voice tentative. Do you think they'll still donate? Jamie hesitated, uncertainty creeping back in. How could he rally this newfound energy to ensure the funds were raised? As he searched for the right words, inspiration struck. Let us auction some treats, he exclaimed, his voice ringing with newfound confidence. We can auction them to the highest bidder. More people can participate, and we can have fun with it. Mia's chin perked up. Yes. And we could collect donations with that. We can get creative. Jamie's heart raced again, but this time it was fueled by excitement. He could feel a shift, as if the air hum of hope infused every corner of the room. And as they began to discuss auction ideas, Jamie realized, this bake sale could transform into something so much bigger, but deep down, he still worried. Would it be enough? Just then, as they began to put their plan into motion, the door swung open. A shadow stepped in, and every face turned to look who was it? What disruption might await? The figure in the doorway was tall, with broad shoulders and a confident stance. As the afternoon light cast a long shadow across the room, Jamie squinted, trying to make out who had just entered. To his surprise, it was Mr. Johnson, the local baker, known not just for his incredible confections but also for his generosity towards community events. Hey there, folks. Mr. Johnson's voice boomed, making even the smallest children look up from their clustering huddle around the tables. He flashed a broad smile, one that radiated warmth and excitement. I heard there was a bit of a situation with the bake sale. Mind if I lend a hand? A ripple of relief swept through the crowd. Jamie felt as if a weight had been lifted off his shoulders. They could still turn this day around. Mr. Johnson. You're just in time. He called, gesturing for him to come closer. We're planning to hold an auction to raise more donations. Mr. Johnson stepped further in, the scent of fresh bread and sweet icing wafting in his wake. An auction, you say? Now that sounds like a splendid idea. I can provide some of my signature pastries for the auction. What do you think? All around him, faces lit up with hope and excitement. A murmur of agreement swept through the air. Jamie's heart raced again, this time with renewed energy and exhilaration. That would be amazing. Thank you. He couldn't believe their luck. This was exactly the kind of boost they needed. Let us not waste another moment. Mia exclaimed, her enthusiasm infectious. We need to set up a display for the bidding. Mr. Johnson, how many treats can you bring? Let us see. He rubbed his chin thoughtfully, eyes twinkling with mischief. How about 24 cupcakes, a few cakes, and, a giant cookie shaped like a heart? He winked, adding an element of whimsy. Yes. Jamie clapped his hands together, drawing everyone's attention again. This is it. We're turning this bake sale into something extraordinary. A flurry of activity began. People moved swiftly, following Jamie's lead. Mia and Tina worked together, creating colorful signs for the auction table while others helped set up decorations with whatever materials they could find. Lively chatter filled the air, and even the kids joined in, drawing doodles on paper to showcase their favorite treats. Jamie couldn't shake off the feeling of rising momentum. As Mr. Johnson began unloading his baking treasures at the back of the room, Jamie noticed a few families queuing up at the donation jar, dropping in crumpled bills and handfuls of coins. Hope filled him. Perhaps they were really on the right track, but in the midst of the busy atmosphere, Jamie felt a nervous flutter in his stomach. What if people didn't donate enough? Would Mr. Johnson's efforts be in vain? He wanted their hard work to pay off, to bring in the $2,000 so desperately needed. Do you think the community will really come through? Jamie asked Tina, who was arranging cupcakes in rainbow order. She paused and looked him square in the eye. They will. If we show how much this means to us, they'll want to contribute. People care about what happens here, she said firmly. As if right on cue, more faces joined the gathering, bringing with them a sense of collective purpose. Families strolled in, curious about the event, drawn by the buzz in the air. Their hearts shifted slightly, warmed by the togetherness around them, but just as the smiling faces began to create an atmosphere of unity, Jamie glanced towards the back. A figure lingered just inside the door, watching closely. It was someone he recognized, someone from his past who stirred a flood of unexpected feelings. What was their motive for being here today? And would this presence change everything for Jamie, just when things were finally looking up? Jamie's heart raced as his gaze fixated on the figure in the doorway. There was no mistaking that familiar silhouette, even against the warmly lit backdrop of the bake sale chaos. It was Alex, his childhood friend, the one who had moved away unexpectedly 2 years ago. Memories crashed over him like waves. Their laughter, their shared dreams, and the day Alex had just vanished from his life with no explanation. "Is everything okay?" Tina asked, noticing the shift in Jamie's expression as he stared wide-eyed at the door. I need to speak with him." Jamie's voice was barely above a whisper. He turned toward the gathering crowd and shot a quick look at Mr. Johnson, who was deep in conversation with some parents about the best frosting techniques. Jamie swallowed hard, his determination rising. If he wanted this bake sale to succeed, he had to face whatever was going on with Alex. "Jamie, wait." Tina grabbed his wrist, her grip firm yet supportive. "You don't have to do this alone. Let us go together." Taking a deep breath, they walked towards Alex, who was now stepping inside, his expression unreadable. As they approached, Jamie noticed the way Alex's gaze darted across the room, scanning the vibrant decorations and eager faces. There was something bittersweet in his eyes, a mix of nostalgia and uncertainty. "Hey, Alex." Jamie called out, his voice stronger than he felt. It's good to see you." Alex's face softened, and a smile broke through the contemplative mask he wore. "Jamie. I didn't know you'd be here." There was a moment of awkward silence before he added, "I heard about the bake sale through my mom. I thought I'd stop by and see how I could help." "Help?" Jamie echoed, feeling more confused than ever. Could it really be that simple? "We could definitely use more hands. We're about to hold an auction to raise donations." "That sounds awesome." Alex interrupted, his enthusiasm igniting a flicker of hope in Jamie's heart. As they began discussing how Alex could help, maybe even providing music with his guitar, Jamie couldn't help but notice the shifts in the air around them. People were now gathering closer, drawn in by the possibility of a live performance. Little kids peered expectantly, their eyes wide with excitement, but as time passed, Jamie's internal conflict grew. The ghosts of their past danced in his mind. Why had Alex left suddenly? How had he transitioned in the last 2 years? Jamie longed to ask but felt something heavy in the air, wavering on the edge of a question unspoken. "Jamie," Alex said, pulling him from his thoughts. "I know it's been a while, but I really miss our times together." His voice was earnest, sincere. "I was thinking of how we could start fresh." Fresh? The question lingered between them like a heartbeat, electric and filled with possibilities. "Yeah, fresh," Jamie said slowly. I guess we could start with the bake sale." As Alex joined the others, strumming his guitar, laughter and music filled the room, blending with the smells of fresh pastries and baked goods. A surge of energy flowed through the crowd, lifting their spirits. But Jamie felt the weight of unresolved emotions hanging just beneath the surface. The auction was drawing ever closer, and he knew the stakes were high. Would the presence of the past help or hinder their efforts? In the midst of the joy, one question nagged at him: was rekindling an old friendship the key to unlocking a successful future, or would it taint the very foundations they were building today? With the crowd now on the edge of their seats, Jamie realized the next chapter of this day was just beginning, and it held the promise of transformation. Jamie felt the rhythm of the room pulse with life as Alex played. The familiar strains of the guitar tugged at his heart, stirring something deep within him. People were swaying, lost in the notes, but Jamie's mind was still caught in tangled memories of their shared past. "Let us auction off some of these baked goods," Mr. Johnson announced, clapping his hands to gain attention. "Now, remember folks, every dollar counts for the school's new music program." There was a cheer from the crowd, children bouncing on their toes with anticipation, but Jamie wasn't focused on the auction. He watched Alex interact with the crowd, effortlessly charming kids and parents alike, laughter spilling from their lips. Alex's warm smile reminded him of the friend he once knew, full of life and dreams. Yet, the shadow of their lost years hung heavily on Jamie, making him restless. "Let us move a bit over here," Tina said, sensing his unease. She led him to a quieter space near the back of the auditorium, away from the lively crowd. Her expression was serious, like she understood more than she let on. "Talk to him, Jamie. Just ask the questions. You'll feel better," she urged, her gaze steady and encouraging. Jamie nodded, but his throat tightened at the thought of confronting Alex. What if it all went wrong? What if the distance between them was too wide to bridge? He inhaled deeply, steeling himself. "You're right. I have to know why he left." Just then, a loud thump echoed through the room. Jamie turned to see a little boy accidentally knock over a tray of cookies. The crowd gasped, and laughter erupted as sprinkles and crumbs scattered like confetti across the floor. In that moment, Jamie's resolve began to strengthen. Alex stepped in to help the boy, crouching down with a patient smile that as he watched, Jamie's heart ached with the memories of simpler times taking care of each other, standing by through thick and thin. A part of him wanted to reclaim that bond, to understand what had fractured it. The music faded gently, and Jamie saw a perfect opportunity. He pulled away from Tina, feeling a rush of adrenaline as he made his way back to Alex. With each step, he could feel the gravity of the moment building. The people around them began to settle down, their chatter quieting as Alex finished packing up the cookies for extra sale. "Alex?" Jamie's voice trembled slightly, cutting through the comforting noise of the bake sale. Alex turned, a warm yet cautious smile forming on his lips. "Hey, Jamie. Everything okay?" He looked up, concern shadowing his eyes, realizing something was brewing beneath Jamie's composed exterior. "No, not really." Jamie swallowed hard, searching for the words. "Can we talk, about why you really left?" Alex's expression shifted, a flicker of unease crossing his features. His lips parted, hesitation evident in every second that passed. Jamie's heart pounded louder in the stillness, anticipation electrifying the air between them. Before Alex could reply, a cheer erupted from the crowd. The auction had begun in earnest. Yet Jamie was unaware of the world around them. All that mattered was the friendship they shared and the silence of the last 2 years. "Jamie, Alex started, but the words were smothered by another cheer as they bid on a colorful cake. Jamie felt a flicker of frustration. "Just let me know, please. I need to understand." His voice was louder now, cutting through the clamor, and heads turned toward them. The tension swelled between them, a world of possibility and regret swirling like storm clouds. Alex's eyes searched Jamie's, as if looking for answers too, and then, the moment hung, heavy with unspoken words. What would Alex reveal? Would it shatter the possibility of a new start, or give them a path forward? Before Jamie could catch his breath, Alex sighed deeply, the weight of the past in his expression. "All right, let us find a quieter place. I think it's time to talk." The realization struck Jamie like a bolt of lightning. Everything depended on this conversation. With a sense of purpose, they slipped away from the bustling crowd, leaving behind the joyful shouts and vibrant energy. As they stepped into the hallway, Jamie's heart raced not just with fear, but with the hope that maybe, just maybe, they could piece together their fragmented friendship. Little did they know, this conversation would change everything. What secrets lay hidden in Alex's heart? Would Jamie's courage hold the weight of the truth? Walking side by side, Jamie and Alex tread through the dimly lit hallway, the lively sounds of the bake sale fading into a hollow echo behind them. Jamie's heart thumped in time with his quickened breaths. It felt surreal, a collision between fear and the flicker of hope. Was he about to uncover the truth that could finally bridge the gap between them? They approached a small, abandoned classroom with a door slightly ajar. The walls were lined with forgotten posters, dusty desks scattered with remnants of old assignments, a ghost of memories left untouched. It felt private enough, a sanctuary where truths could unfold without the weight of the world pressing in. Here. Jamie gestured inside, a nervous smile creeping across his lips, breaking the tension just enough to make this moment feel less ominous. Alex nodded, stepping in first, his shoulders slightly slumped, as if carrying a weight Jamie could only imagine. As the door clicked shut behind them, the silence was almost deafening. Alex turned to Jamie, his expression revealing a storm of emotions just below the surface. "I wasn't ready to talk about it, Jamie. Not back then. And I didn't know how." His voice wavered, a hint of pain lacing each word. Jamie swallowed hard, the memories of their last moments together crashing over him like a tidal wave. I didn't understand why you left. You were my best friend. And then you vanished," he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. Alex rubbed the back of his neck, his gaze drifting to the window, avoiding Jamie's searching eyes. "Things got complicated," he finally said, his voice low. "It felt like my life was falling apart, and I didn't know how to reach out. So I ran. Ran." The word tasted bitter in Jamie's mouth. "But we had each other. We were supposed to face things together." He stepped closer, trying to breach the growing distance not only between them but the struggles Alex had faced alone. Alex met Jamie's gaze then, and the burden he carried became painfully clear. "I thought I could handle it. My family, there were issues. I didn't want you to see me fall apart. It felt easier to disappear." The room seemed to close in on Jamie. He felt a knot twist in his stomach, realizing how alone Alex must have felt, caught in his own storm while Jamie was left in the dark. "I would have been there for you. Always. I would have fought for you." "We both could have fought," Jamie said, his voice thick with a combination of hurt and longing. "Maybe," Alex sighed, "but I was scared. It wasn't just you. I didn't know what to say or how to ask for help. I thought it would be better to just walk away." He paused, the heaviness of truth settling in the small room. "But leaving you, it hurt. Every day." In that instant, Jamie felt the chasm between them shift, if only slightly. They weren't just two friends trying to reconnect, they were two souls that had felt the pain of separation in ways they'd never expressed. "Can we start over?" Jamie's voice trembled, vulnerability spilling into the silence. "I don't want to lose you again. Not like this." Alex smiled faintly, and the warmth of it cast away some of the shadows that had haunted them both. "I'd like that," he replied softly. "But it'll take time. Just understanding each other again, it might not be easy." "Nothing worth it ever is," Jamie said, a flicker of determination igniting within him. As they stood there, two lifetime friends caught in a shifting tide of emotion, a small spark of hope ignited. But just as they seemed to inch closer to healing, a loud crash from outside the classroom shattered the moment, pulling them back to reality. "What was that?" Jamie whispered, eyes widening in alarm. What if it was something that could derail this fragile moment? "Let us find out," Alex said, stepping back toward the door, his brow furrowed with concern. Neither of them knew that what waited just beyond the classroom door would change everything again. The sound echoed again, followed by the unmistakable hustle of activity that could only mean chaos. Jamie and Alex pushed open the classroom door, stepping back into the vibrant yet tumultuous atmosphere of the community center. Voices clashed, laughter turned to uncertainty, and an instant of excitement filled the air, tinged with worry. But as they moved through the crowd, Jamie felt something shift within him. The spark of hope had reignited, fanned by his reunion with Alex. "What happened?" Jamie called out, zeroing in on Mia, who was clustering with a group of eager kids clutching cookies and cupcakes. There was a little mix-up with the auction. Everyone's excited about the items, but the bidding is a bit out of control. Mia exclaimed, clearly caught up in the frenzy of it all. Jamie felt a rush of adrenaline. It was just another bump in what had been a rocky road, but it didn't matter. They had already come so far. He turned to Alex, their earlier conversation still fresh in his mind. This is it. We need to jump in and take charge. Alex nodded, a determined glint in his eye. Let us see how we can help. As they approached the auction table, Jamie felt something remarkable happening. The room pulsed with energy, people mingled, hearts intertwined in a shared purpose. Donations were pouring into the jar, and the atmosphere thrummed with a collective spirit straining against the odds. Alex grabbed a microphone, an impromptu leader stepping into the moment. Okay, folks. Let us keep this excitement going. Can I get a bid for this beautiful heart-shaped cookie? People laughed and raised their hands, calling out bids and electric energy back into the room. Jamie stepped in beside Alex, feeling the magic of camaraderie. This was their moment to shine, and he could sense the community rallying behind them, all of them a part of something greater. $5. Someone called out. 10. Another shouted. With every bid, Jamie's heart swelled. This wasn't just about the money, it was about the bonds they were rekindling, the beliefs they were sharing, but then, a hush drifted over the crowd as a voice called out, timid yet firm. Can we all help a little more? How about we all pitch in even just $1? Tina, who had stepped up beside them, looked around. Let us show them what we can do together. People began to nod, murmurs rising in agreement. Let us make this count. Every dollar mattered, every act of kindness woven into the fabric of their small yet vibrant community. Jamie felt a softness in his heart. This was what he had dreamed of, a community united, not just for Mr. Thompson but for everyone who walked through those doors. As the auction continued, the donation jar burgeoned with crinkled bills, and laughter intertwined with sheer joy. The sense of renewal enveloped Jamie, enveloped Alex too, pulling together the pieces of their fractured past. When the final gavel dropped on the last auction item, the crowd erupted into cheers. The glimmer of hope radiated brighter than ever. They had raised enough money to meet their initial goal. But more importantly, they had discovered a deeper connection with one another, a reaffirmation that they belonged to something truly special. Jamie. Mr. Thompson pushed his way through the crowd, his eyes twinkling with gratitude. You did it. I'm so proud of you all. His voice was hoarse but filled with warmth. It's not just the store being saved, you've fostered something extraordinary here. You've reminded this community of who we are. With that, Jamie looked at Alex, who was beaming with pride. This is just the beginning, isn't it? Jamie asked, feeling the weight of the day lift, like a curtain closing on old fears. Alex nodded, a newfound confidence shining through. Yeah, we're just getting started. As they stepped back into the crowd, the energy felt vibrant, electric. Jamie felt alive, filled with the promise of what lay ahead. Friends standing together, community restored, dreams unfolding like a well-worn quilt, warm and comforting. In that moment, Jamie truly understood the power of connection through trials. They had moved beyond their fears and transformed dreams into reality. Together, they had planted seeds of hope that would only continue to blossom. As the community danced in celebration, laughter filling the air with joyous melodies, Jamie realized it wasn't just about saving Mr. Thompson's store, it was about saving each other, building a foundation strong enough to weather any storm. With a heart full of warmth and a smile that seemed to stretch a little wider, Jamie turned to face his friends, the radiant light of hope shining brightly in his eyes. This was the moment. Now, it's your time to take action. Be part of this inspiring journey. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss out on stories that turn dreams into reality. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help us grow. Comment below with your feelings about this incredible transformation, and don't wait not even one more second to share this powerful video with at least 5 friends who need a spark of hope in their lives. Only true fans understand how important it is to support the channel through these actions.